Somebody wanted to know if I was going to explain some things, and no, I'm not. Now, the things was not going to explain was how it came to be that I was abducted by aliens and that I've got superpowers. Um, I was not going to talk about how I got a hold of element 115, which is a method for making antimatter. Everyone knows that in Star Trek they use matter antimatter engines, element 115. And the last thing I wasn't going to talk about was how to make spaghetti without tomato sauce. Now, as for the third one, well, everyone knows you use a cream sauce. And let's see, number two, element 115. Well, it's freely traded among different interstellar traveling species. And how much does it cost? Well, enough to propel your starship. It's not going to cost you more than, I don't know, maybe what you buy at your corner store, a package of gum. And that's only because, if you've got a quarter, maybe you're going to flip the guy a quarter because it's, here's something from planet Earth and it's a quarter, maybe it's a American or a Canadian quarter. It's just a souvenir. In other words, they'll give it to you. And then the last one, or the first one, sorry, the first one I was going to not talk to you about was how I came to be one of the 4400, which was an old TV show about people who were abducted by aliens, and then they all came back to planet Earth and had superpowers. My superpower is a little bit hidden, believe it or not, but it has to do a lot with the numbers 2 and 2, put them together, not 4, 22. And I've talked about it in previous lectures here, so you can dig around, or you can just look up 22 and see what you find. How does it work? Well, it's a superpower. Everyone knows that superpowers are just superpowers. How do they work? I've given lectures on all this. I mean, good God, how many times do I have to reveal the same information over and over and over again? How do you get superpowers? You don't get superpowers. Then how can you have them? It's because concomitant to you expressing your superpower, I don't know how many, there's like 10 zillion names for God. God does it. Concomitant to you performing whatever you're doing, it just appears to be a superpower. Everything that you think is a psychic superpower is not. It is concomitant to a regular Joe like me doing something like saying abracadabra, and then it's like a synchronicity. It's synchronized with me saying abracadabra. Some magic happens. It's concomitant to me doing something that you, whatever. Maybe I snap my fingers and then, the tree falls down that I'm looking at. The mountains move. Someone burps or farts. Any of these things. What did I do? I didn't do the superpower, but for the sake of fun, you can say I've got the superpowers and I'm a 4400 person. I was the 4400 person. If you look up the 4400 on Google, you will see it was a TV show. How did I get to be a 4400 person? I was a very, inexpensive extra and they needed some extras on the set of the 4400, and I went. I didn't even know what the show was. And I showed up, and they, took me through hair and makeup and costuming, and then they just sent me over to that building over there where they said, just go stand over those people. And later on, I learned that all the people that were standing there in the show were members of the 4400. I had to go look it all up. I never even watched the show. I was on it, but I didn't know anything. That happened all the time. But lo and behold, they told me that I was one of the 4400. Ergo, I have been abducted by aliens somewhere along the way, and I am here. I mean, it certainly looks like planet Earth. So I am back, and therefore I must have some superpower, because all the 4400 do. You look up number 22, and you can figure out what it is.